Would you tell the world a secret that nearly ruined your life? I almost didn't, but I couldn't get the story out of my head and I couldn't keep running from it either. So now I'm turning it into a movie. Hey, I'm Rod Kirby. I'm a screenwriter and filmmaker based in Memphis, Tennessee. And for the past 5 years, I've been working on one of the most personal stories I've ever told. It's a story inspired by a time in my life I never thought I'd share publicly. In this video, I'm opening up about the real life experience that inspired my film, but also I'm going to share 4 powerful lessons, writing lessons that I've learned along the way, especially for screenwriters who want to turn their pain into stories that audiences can't turn away from. So stick around to the end if you've ever struggled with telling your truth through writing. Okay, so here's my big secret. There was a season in my life where I struggled with sex addiction. For about 2 to 3 years, I was addicted to sleeping with prostitutes. I'll go out late at night into the darkest corners of Memphis, not looking for love, but honestly just trying to fill this void that I felt in my soul, my spirit. I was trying to numb the pain. But what I really needed wasn't physical, it was emotional. It was spiritual. However, everything changed when I reconnected with my wife, Kimberly. Because of her and by God's grace, I stopped cold turkey. And we've been married now for 14 years, and I thank God for her every single day. Out of that experience, I made a short film called Love in Dark Places. It was about a sex addict who falls in love with a girl at an HIV clinic, only to find out that she's also a prostitute. The short film was bold, but it really didn't feel finished. Something was missing. I didn't feel like I really captured the heart of the addiction, or the emotional complexity that comes with it. So I kept writing, and I kept thinking about what else the story could be. In 2020, I sat down and wrote a new 20-page treatment. It was a new take on the story that I submitted to the Sundance Screenwriting Lab. Now, while I didn't make the lab, I did walk away with something pretty awesome. It was a story that excited me. It was a story that scared me. And, I just knew that I had to tell it. That story became the current version of Love in Dark Places, which I'm actually turning into a feature film. So this iteration of Love in Dark Places is a crime thriller about a man named Tony, who's a sex addict that loses everything. He's forced to work at his father's nightclub, and just when he's at his lowest point, he falls in love with an employee with a mysterious background. However, his world is turned upside down again when he discovers an underground sex trafficking operation at the club. He also learns that the employee that he fell in love with is an escort that's forced to manage it. But in order to save her and himself, he's got to confront his father, who just so happens to be a Memphis crime kingpin. This story is about love, it's about power, it's about redemption, and what it truly takes to overcome powerful internal and external forces. To bring this film to life, I'm producing a proof of concept short film, and it's based on the opening scene of the feature film. I'm doing that mainly because the first scene hits on the emotional core of Tony's journey, and it shows you exactly who he is. And my hope is that people really connect with Tony early so they'll want to follow him all the way through the feature film. If you're curious about the film, the first 3 pages of the short film script are available now on my Patreon. You'll also find a video that dives deeper into that dark period of my life. So the link to Patreon is in the description below. This story isn't easy to tell, but I believe stories like this matter. Stories about pain, about healing, about what love, like real love, can do, And if you're a writer and you want to connect with audiences on a deeper level by sharing your past experiences, no matter how painful they might be, here are 4 powerful tips to help you push past the fear and finish your script. Lesson number 1, start with honesty, not perfection. Stop worrying about whether your story is good enough. Seriously, just worry about whether it's true, emotionally true. Perfection is a moving target. Honesty, that's what connects with people the most. Lesson number 2, you don't have to tell the whole truth all at one time. Start with just a moment, a feeling, a scene. Let the story reveal itself over time. You don't have to bleed out on page 1. Lesson 3, if it scares you, it's probably worth writing. The fear means it's real. Write scared and write anyway. Lesson 4, your story has purpose. Even your pain has a purpose. I believe God doesn't waste anything, not even the things we wish had never happened. So if you feel called to write something personal, go ahead and do it. Someone else is waiting to feel seen by your story. Look, the bottom line is don't wait until you feel fearless. Write scared, write messy, just write. Guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you sticking around to the very end. If this helped you out in any way, please let me know in the comments. And also subscribe if you want to continue following my journey as I produce my very first feature film, which is Love in Dark Places. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.